Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we will be discussing the feat Knight of the Crown. Yes. All right. This is one of those Squire of Salami feats.
Yes. So, Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen brought us 2 feat trees that are one base feat that goes into 3 others. So this is the Squire of Solamnia, which is a feat that you can take if you're a paladin or if you're a fighter or if you have a given background from the book. I talked about it when we talked about Squire, because we talked about Squire already.
Yes.
That I would recommend fighters and paladins that's okay to take. If I wouldn't recommend the backgrounds though, because they give the feat for free and it's very powerful. In any case, for the context of this feat, it's important because it gives you a precise strike, which gives you bonus D8 to hit stuff. The attack's damage roll, which is, bonus D8 damage is pretty sweet a couple of times per long rest. This is the expansion off of that in one of the directions. This one takes you to Crown. This one, you need to have the Squire Solamnia feat prerequisite to take this at all, but once you have it, you're good to take this. It gives you a bunch of different stuff. So first, it gives you an ability score increase. Increase your strike next or con by 1. If that's all if you have it on score, as usual, it is excellent. If you're going from a 15 to a 16, or a 17 to an 18, or a 19 to a 20, you're going from no extra modifier to extra modifier, and that's excellent. It's worth the feat, 100%. You can take it without reason, no other reason alone. You don't need to worry about anything else, so that's what you're getting. Conveniently, it also gives you Commanding Rally, so as a bonus action, you can command one ally within 30 feet of yourself to attack. If that ally can see or hear you, they immediately make one weapon attack as a reaction. If it hits, they add a d8 to the number rolled as a bonus to the attack's damage roll. You can use this bonus action number of times you lose your proficiency bonus, regaining all whenever you finish a long rest. That means it also, because the proficiency bonus based, scales really well with multi-classing, which is pretty neat. I love Knight of the Crown, but I love Knight of the Crown specifically when I have a rogue buddy. If I don't have a rogue buddy, it's a lot worse, but if I have a rogue buddy, oh boy, is this a good feat.
Let's go back a little bit.
Cool.
Just want to understand the mechanics here. I'm the Knight of the Crown, and
you are the Knight of the Crown.
All right, as a bonus action, I'm stabbing. But as a bonus action, I say, hey, friend, you attack too.
Mm-hmm.
And he attacks as a reaction. What does that mean? A reaction to what?
Every round, characters have an action, a bonus action, and a reaction.
Yes.
The reaction can be spent. Reactions cannot be what they happen whenever a trigger occurs. So this is saying you're giving them a trigger to take this reaction.
So saying it's their reaction.
Their reaction to make the attack roll. Yes.
Okay, so if somebody hits me and I have another triggering effect, I still have a reaction.
Yep, you can cast shield. Okay. You can do you can make attack of opportunity. That's the most common one.
Yeah,
all those are still online for you.
Okay, that's cleared up for me now.
Cool.
No, guess we're done. We said a bunch of things. It does 2 things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The second thing is kind of robust. Giving allies a bonus of like a free attack for a bonus action. It's gonna vary as to how good that is. There'll be some tables where you're the only person making attack rolls, and if that's the case, this doesn't have text. But if you've got a monk in the group, it's kind of fine. If you got a paladin in the group, okay, I'm listening. If you have a rogue in the group, though. Now we're talking. Now you're speaking my language. The reason that it's really good with rogues, I'll just directly to it. Sneak attack is a once per turn effect, not a once per round effect, which means if you use sneak attack on your turn, you can't make another attack and get the sneak attack damage again. You get it kind of capped once on your turn. So you hit, you can do an extra 3d6 damage, you're done. Now,
but this isn't your turn.
Now it's not your turn.
Somebody else's turn. Okay.
Yes. So your fighter or paladin could be like, rogue, hit him. And you go, great, can do, boss. And then you double dip on that sneak attack damage. And that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that is.
That's definitely the best way to use this. Which is, pretty good use case.
Unless your barbarian is doing more damage than the rogue sneak attack.
Having a bonus action just to make... If that's happening, I'm afraid for what your barbarian is wielding, because that's a huge amount of damage. But yeah, it also
what level is it? No, I mean it's a feat, so you can take it any time. But rogue sneak attack damage. Of course you got the base damage, then the sneak attack damage. But how much sneak attack damage are we talking about?
It's a d6 every 2 levels.
Right.
So a 10th level rogue is getting 10d6 or 5d6 sneak attack damage, plus their base weapon rate.
And what's the barbarian getting with his big axe?
2d6 plus mod.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you're great weapon mastering, and sometimes you're adding on. You get your rage damage onto that too, and you're adding up a little bit, but it's not coming close to the rogue's one hit, one punch, big damage number, especially when your rogue builds to do that well, right?
Yeah.
I think what's also really notable about this is getting your proficiency bonus number of them, especially by the tier you can pick this up, because this requiring a feat as a prerequisite does make it something that, unless you're seeing a variant human do it, unless you're seeing it in the Dragonlance setting where someone has it as their background, this isn't coming up until the upper tiers. In the upper tiers, like post level 11, this is 3 or 4 uses per long rest, and that's pretty exceptional. 4 uses of a bonus action ally attack just for free. That's always going to be useful, even on characters that aren't getting like an ally to sneak attack with. Even if you're just using it to tag team with your barbarian, even if you're using it to tag team with any other character that you want to have making an attack roll, it's pretty solid. If you can double dip on any bonus damage features, like a Hunter's Mark on a Ranger, if you can double dip on any other kinds of bonus damage enhancing on hit, it'll just make a character attack more. That's going to be really solid. Even a Warlock, if you're doing like a Hexblade Warlock, if you're doing some kind of melee thing that you're proccing your Hex damage over and over again, getting an extra use of that per round is really great.
Does it count for like spell attacks?
It has to be a weapon attack. So warlocks
Weapon
need to be
attack,
doing
okay.
the hexblade
Yeah,
thing. They
yeah,
have to
yeah.
have a sword and attacking with it. But it doesn't specify that it has to be a melee attack. Ranged characters, as long as they're within 30 feet of you, you can shoot short bows with this, which is
Yeah.
very good, because especially on your sharpshooter friends, especially on you, like I said earlier, the rogues with the short bows, they're going to make a lot of use out of Knight of the Crown into great effect. I like this feat a lot. It's not particularly complex in its writing. I think how it plays out of the table is going to give you a lot of fun, complex decisions to be, okay, now you get to make your attack roll, so you're not going to need your reaction this round. Okay, this person gets this attack roll here, this person gets that attack roll here. I think it's very fun to play with.
Yeah, sounds good. I haven't looked too deeply into it, but you sold me on it.
Is it the
What is
best of the knights? I don't know.
I haven't looked at the other nights yet.
So the other ones are what? Knight of the Rose and Knight of the Sword and Rose. So I've reviewed these a long while ago. Quickly brushing back up on it. So the comparative options, Knight of the Rose, and also, so this is a question that I had. You can take all of these if you want to, right? There's no rules as written that stops you from
Why
taking.
not?
Yeah. So you can have Knight of the Crown and Knight of the Rose if you want to my knowledge. There might be like lore and Dragonlance that says that doesn't work, but as rules as written, I don't see anything on the feats that say otherwise. So Rose gives you like a bonus action, a buddy gets temp HP. I think it's the worst one. It also only gets Con, Wizard, Charisma. That's not that great. And then Knight of the Sword, if it gives you your own attack roll, it's probably better than this, but I don't think it does that. Let me double check again. Just talking over loading screens as we're getting there. It gives you Demoralizing Strike, which lets you frighten things whenever you hit, which is fine. It's pretty good if you want to be the center of attention all the time, but it adds int, Wizard, Charisma to your character, which is not as good as Strength, Dex, or Con is. So, like, I think of all of these, for your average fighter, for your average paladin, Knight of the Crown is going to be the most usable that you'll regularly find. Like, if I don't need the other feat stuff, if I don't need Crusher, if I don't need Great Weapon Master, if I don't need, you don't ever need Crusher. You know, if you ever need Great Weapon Master or Sentinel or Polearm Master, and any of those really powerful feats that are like known entities, and you've got room to take this expansion for it, Knight of the Crown is, I think, the best of the three as far as direction of where you can go from Squire. I would recommend it.
What about do you have any opinion on is it better for fighters or paladins, or doesn't that matter?
I think paladins tend to be the character types that want to be more, so mechanically they're given more that says I'd like to support my allies, so this feels like it's more of a paladin thing. At the same time, they also love just spamming Divine Smite, so they like to do their own thing quite a bit, where you just run in and get to be the center of attention to go, I've forgone all of my other abilities and I just hit like a freight train right now with my greatsword. I think for that reason, you don't need this as much on paladins to feel like you're a supportive character that's helping your teammates. Fighters can use that a bit more. Battlemaster fighters in particular, they probably have a lot of fun with this. This is a similar feature to the Battlemaster. Like, they have a commanding rally where they can forgo an attack to give somebody an attack, and that's a lot worse than this.
Yeah.
I think you can probably get about as much mileage on both, but because the paladin already has options to let them do more supportive stuff, I'd value this more on a fighter than a paladin.
Paladins also seem a little bit more bossy, so the whole commanding thing.
Sure, that fits very flavorfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, yeah.
This is like Squire, and that this is an innocent feat where if I had a new player that had no idea what they wanted to do, but they wanted to make a character that was better at combat, I would point them to Squire first, and then I'd point them to either Knight of the Sword or Crown second, just to say, you're going to do better in combat, you're going to have more options, you're going to have flexible decisions to make, you're going to hit a little bit harder, you're going to feel good using these features. I think they're really great. I think they're relatively simple. I think the game has largely benefited from that. I think mechanically they offer complex decisions. All in all, I think they're winners. They're not breaking anyone's game by any stretch. This isn't, outside of specifically trying to get the rogue to sneak attack more, this is really tame as far as usability goes. And there'll be even some groups where if you're the one making attack rolls, or you're the kind of character you're more than 30 feet out from your allies on a pretty regular basis, it's going to be kind of hard to use this. Most of the time, though, if you have an ally with a weapon attack next to you or within spitting distance, this is going to be a perfectly reasonable addition to your sheet.
Yeah. Then, I mean, when you rate this, are you doing general, or are you thinking I'm using my rogue friend?
I generally try, and my reviews tend to, I think, highlight how powerful I think this has the potential to be. So at its best, how good is this? I think giving your rogue a bonus action attack is very good. I would probably still rate this only at a 3, just because it isn't great weapon master levels of obscene, right? You're still gated by usage to get 4 extra rogue attacks per long rest, and they can already get extra attacks by like reactions and stuff. They are forgoing some things for that. There is a little bit of give and take there. I don't think this is, by any sort of imagination, bonkers broken. I think 3 is entirely reasonable for what you're getting here. You never need this. It's fun to have, though, and it's going to be really particularly good when you have a rogue buddy. Otherwise, it's still going to be fine when you have a barbarian or a fighter or a ranger using it too.
Yeah, I think 3 sounds about right. It's a cool effect, but I don't know that you're going to be able to use it like every turn. Or well, I mean, no, you're limited on the amount of times you can use it anyway.
I like that decision, though. I like figuring out when do we need this
absolutely,
extra
yeah.
attack.
But it's not like something like sharpshooter where you can use it every turn.
Yeah, and I'm glad for that. I'm thankful that we don't have another sharpshooter on our hands.
Yeah, so middle of the road 3, but fun, cool.
Probably the best of the Squire suites.
Yeah, I would think so. We'll talk about the other ones later. All right. Well, thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us. That was Knight of the Crown. Let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.